Our kingdom will be absolutely out of this world. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto our power, our Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. I would like to give double honor unto our elder apostles and elder bishops, Great Millstone. Peace and blessed to the house of David, the elect, beginning with the 144,000. Our kingdom will be absolutely out of this world, man. Us, the Israelites, us, so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native and Seminole Indians, will be one with our power again. And that entails a lot. Okay? Being the direct sons, and for our women, daughters of the Heavenly Father. But beginning with the men, begin with you hopeful elect brothers, all right? The prophets, the 144,000, you're going to be the direct sons of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, okay? And being a son of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, being a son of the power is a position. That is going to be the highest position in the universe, okay? And we will be the direct descendants of our power. It's direct offspring by way of that new covenant, okay? Once we're changed, things gonna manifest on a physical level, showing that we are the people of the Heavenly Father. Okay? Us being able to fully control the planet Earth by way of the law, statutes, commandments. Okay? And us having a kingdom on this planet Earth is actually fashioned according to the Heavenly Father's divine design. Okay, such as what you read in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, Tobit, chapter 13, Isaiah, chapter 60, Isaiah, chapter 54, okay, and many other scriptures. All right? And you Israelites, us the Israelites, will not be disappointed, man. The Heavenly Father is going to fully fulfill your heart's desire. Okay? And things are going to be beyond our imagination. As it's written, I have not seen, nor ear have heard. Okay? What will it truly be like to be the sons of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai? All right? And you women are going to be all right too. You know, our women. Okay? But this kingdom does begin with the Israelite man.
Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Pushing to get up out of there. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. All right, and what I want to get into is a lesson entitled, come sit in the dust, all right, O virgin daughter of Babylon, okay, in which we know, all right, that's referencing of America, all right, because when you go into the scriptures, America, which will be known as Babylon the Great, the virgin daughter of Babylon, okay, is the centerpiece of a lot of prophecy unfolding in these last days. Okay, when you go into the scriptures, which when we was in Christianity, we never was taught America in the Bible. We never was taught to associate, okay, the virgin daughter of Babylon, okay, Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, okay, the whore, the ride the beast. We was never taught to associate these things with Babylon, okay. But as the scripture said, the Lord, would reveal, everything in this time, okay. And we see that America, all right, is the virgin daughter of Babylon, is Mystery Babylon the Great, okay, which is spoken of to be destroyed at the return of Yahushua. You see, and it also will serve as a place, of a great captivity for the Israelites. It will be a place of great influence. And you look at all the characteristics, okay, and the deeds of Babylon the Great, okay, in the scriptures. Well, they're fulfilled here in America, man. Babylon have been a golden cup in the hand of the Lord. The nations have drunken of it and are mad. Okay, which the cup goes into the doctrine and philosophies, okay, of Babylon, which is America, that has spread throughout the world. Okay, because the most influential nation and culture on the planet Earth is Babylon's America, no doubt. Okay, the most powerful military, America. It's been the American military for a long time. Now we are in the time of the Lord, bringing down, okay, Babylon, which it has, the Lord has souped up these other nations, to bring this place down for the sake of prophecy, okay. But America has had a long run as the number one, military, still powerful, okay. But what we're seeing, okay, the Lord has an alliance, these nations, okay, are coming together to take this place down, which I have a lesson, going into that, how the Lord does that with empires, okay. But when you look at, the destination of the tribes, okay, as the scriptures speak about us, serving, a captivity before the return of Yahushua, okay, and you look at, the place of great captivity, well, it's right here in America, man. Babylon the Great. We went into captivity in Babylon, which was the southern kingdom, but in Babylon Great, all the tribes went into captivity. Okay, and it was for a much longer time. All right, we was in ancient Babylon like 66, 67 years, give or take. Okay, we was in the Neo-Babylonian captivity about 67 years before, it was transitioning to the Medo-Persian Empire. But in this captivity, man, it's been 400 years plus. Okay, so you go into how about Shema Shai and how he has likened America to the daughter of Babylon. Well, you can see it in the spirit. Okay, now I want to get some precepts. I want to get this in Isaiah 47. And this will be our last captivity. This will be our last major captivity, which we're in captivity all over the world. Okay, but Babylon will be the last major captivity, for us as a people. Okay. So when you go here, Isaiah 47, I'm starting at 1. We go to Isaiah 47 chapter. Okay, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Okay, now sitting in the dust, goes into confusion and also into a promotion. A demotion. So like a demotion. You see, so Babylon is being demoted right before our eyes, man. The American empire is being demoted, okay, on the world stage. Okay, and it's the Lord's doing, because the elites, of course, they want to weaken the American society, which they've been doing it, covertly for a long time. All right, where they finna come, with their sword, okay, and with great anger, and part of the anger of these elites, man, is they're seeing, this empire being dismantled. Okay, because yes, they're doing the controlled demolition on the American society, man. You know, but this empire, which is the military and economy, you know, they've been able to control the world. You know, it has given them a stronghold in the world, and right, it had all these nations in subjection. Okay, but now we're starting to see, you know, the Edomite empire begin to fracture off, man. Okay, and infight. Okay, which they all agree with the this new world order. Okay, the elites of these nations. Okay, the technocrats and the oligarchs of these different nations, they agree with new world order, but now we're starting to see an infight for control of it, man. You know, and Babylon, America is becoming irrelevant. You see, it says, "Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," man. And when you go into this word daughter, okay, when you go into this word daughter, all right, which in the Hebrew, is ba, okay, the word for daughter is ba, all right, but when you go into the definition, it says as personification, okay, a description of character, man. Okay, so the daughter of Babylon, is a personification of the ancient and the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Okay, it has the characteristics of what? Okay, the ancient and Neo-Babylonian Empire. What did the ancient Babylonian Empire try to do? A one world order. Okay, he gathered all people, under Nimrod. He gathered all people unto himself, and started what? A rebellion. Okay, a great rebellion in the earth. You see, which all these nations, all the people of the earth were included. But what happened? It was confounded, and under this American empire, the elites, have gathered these nations, okay, through the enslavement, through the enslavement to the petrodollar, okay, and enforced by the military, and they gathered these nations under a great rebellion. Okay, just like the ancient Babylonian Empire. Now you go to the Neo-Babylonian Empire, okay, which was ran by what? Astrologers, witches, warlocks. Okay, when you go into the elites, they're heavy into the astrology. They're heavy into the stargazers. Right? In which they receive their instructions on how to move. You see, you go into the 60-second minute, the 60-minute hour. All it goes back to Babylonian, all right, math and arithmetic, man. Okay, Christmas and okay, all these things go back to Babylon. Okay, there's much more. All right, but America embodies, okay, ancient and the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man, headed by the elites, the modern day Chaldeans. You see, so when you go back to it, all right, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," man. And we're seeing the Lord dethrone Babylon in great real time. Okay, for these nations, it's going to be a short-lived victory because Yahushua is coming to dethrone everyone, man. Okay, it says, "Take millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." Yeah, because you're going to the ancient world, grinding meal was a job for slaves. Okay, the lowest of the slaves would grind meal, and they would have to sit in the dust. They would be dirty, uncover the locks. Their hair will be uncovered. Okay, because it was a very, it was a very lowly job to have. Okay, and Esau, okay, is getting ready to go into slavery. Okay, you see the founders of Babylon the Great. Okay, these elites and these Edomites, guess what? They're getting ready to go into slavery. They're getting ready to be demoted. Okay, to captivity, from rulers to captives, man, from rulers to slaves. Okay, they're gonna have the lowliest jobs in our kingdom. You see, verse 3 says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen." And Steve, that's what's happening now. And it began with what? The prophets. Okay, you know, the two witnesses, the northern and the southern kingdom. Okay, and as brothers get into the third witness, which, you know, these whistleblowers, these truthers, you know, these alternative news, these investigative journalists, man. Esau is out there. America is out there, man. You know, America is all the way out there, man. The shame of America is out there, man. What it was founded upon, okay, the true history, because of the BS they teach us in the school curriculum is BS, man. Okay, is him romanticizing his wickedness, man? Okay, but no, the raw truth is out there, man, and it's going to lead, because before Yahushua returns, the devil will be heavily exposed, man. Okay, and it says, "I will take vengeance," and this Yahushua, "I will not meet thee as a man." You see, because Yahushua came in the Edomite Empire, the Roman Empire, which Rome is back reloaded. Okay, with America, which is Babylon, also being what? Likened to Rome, the capital of the Roman Empire, man, which is revived. All right, and Yahushua came to Rome to be a sacrifice as a man. Okay, but he coming back as a deity with full power. He's come back as a God with full power, man. Okay, to completely destroy America, okay, and subdue all the heathen of the earth, man. Okay, that survived, they remained after the destruction. All right, verse 4 is, "For our Redeemer," you know, the Redeemer of Israel, beginning with the elect at this time, "the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is his name, the Holy One of Israel." Okay, the Holy One of Israel. And it says, verse 5, it says, "Sit down silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms." Yeah, and Lady of Kingdom goes into the status that America has enjoyed, you know, as the elites have, you know, invested so much, you know, into this American empire, you know, the economic system and the military, you know, which they use that to what? To govern the world, to control the world. That's why you have bases everywhere, all right, American aircraft, you know, everywhere, you know, which now we're seeing is being diminished because of prophecy, man. Okay, and the elites, you know, they play this game where they play both sides, you know, they're going to jump ship and think they're going to ride out, you know, under the banner of these Eastern, you know, nations. No, how Shai going to destroy that too. Okay, but what we're seeing is America lose their status. Okay, they just enjoy, okay, as being the lapdog of the elites. Okay, their status is being stripped away. Okay, it said, "I was wroth for my people. The Lord was angry with us for our disobedience. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient, as thou very heavily laid thy yoke." Okay, so upon the ancient, you know, there was no mercy that the devil showed. You know, old men, old women. Okay, the youth, he didn't show nation, he didn't show mercy on any of our people, man. Okay, and the Lord polluted his inheritance by giving us into his hand, and these devils took it too far. The Lord was pissed at us, man, but these devils did too much, and there's a punishment for that, man. You know, and the Lord has allowed the devil, you know, to just wild out on us as a people, man. So the Lord can be justified in the judgment that he's going to bring on Esau, man, which is 1,000-year captivity and then the extermination, man. You know, because we can look at it and be like, man, why? You know, because that's one of the main questions of our people, are why this and why that. Well, the Lord got it figured out. Okay, and then everything is done in righteousness, man. And even, you know, us being chastened in these captivities, okay, it's perfecting us, man. You know, to be rulers forever. So this temporary captivity is perfecting us to be rulers forever, man. And we needed this, man. Okay? The Lord knows exactly what he was doing, man, and it's working exactly how it should work. Okay? And the beautiful thing is we in the latter end. The scripture say that Better is the end of the thing than the beginning thereof. And we're at the end of this captivity. You see? It says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither did thou remember the latter end of it, man. So Esau did consider at the end there would be a punishment for this, man. You know, he figured because he wasn't getting punished, okay, as he was doing all this wickedness, man, especially under the banner of America, man. Okay, he didn't consider that there was a punishment at the latter end. Okay, but the Lord has let this man build up, you know, to the greatest punishment that any nation of people, all right, can have, man. Okay, verse 8. It said, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given unto pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children, man. And that's the pride, okay, of Esau, which has spilled over into the American public, you know, because the American public associate, you know, American dominance, okay, you know, as a victory for them, even though the government has been, you know, covertly at war with you for decades, okay, and now it's going to get overt where they're going to be openly at war with you people through mercenaries, through, you know, pestilence, okay, through martial law, you see, through famine, okay, but for the longest, you know, the American people, you know, have been cheerleaders of this wicked empire, you know, because there were a few perks that did trickle down, you know, for being part of, you know, the American empire. You know, you get paid in the world reserve currency. You know, we was getting paid in the world reserve currency, which went a long way in this economic setup. Okay. Now these devils have, you know, tightened down to where the dollar doesn't go that far anymore. Okay, and you got to destroy yourself, you know, with labor, you know, just to get by, you know. So the system has shrunk to where the American people are under a tight squeeze. Okay, but even in that, man, you people are so used, you know, to you know, these first world privileges, man. Okay, that you still have this careless mindset. Okay, he said, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. That's why, you know, here it is. America can kill millions. This American system can kill millions throughout the world. You know, but 1 or 2 Americans get killed, and then it's an uproar. Okay, the sailors, you know, these Navy sailors are under bad conditions, and now it's a problem. Okay, because you people, the Americans, you know, have been so used to just waging war and not taking many casualties, man, that they forgot, okay, that they go both ways, that war go both ways. Okay, and it's just the beginning, you know, because casualties is going to go off the chain, and then eventually the Lord going to empty this bitch out with nukes, man, to where it's going to be none remain. Okay, verse 9, but these two shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorcery and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, man. Okay, and this place was founded on enchantments, man. All right, and this place is heavily enchanted, man. There's no place that's more enchanted than the American people. That's why the American people, you know, are so delusional to reality, because they're under heavy enchantments, man. Okay, because this is the place where the elites were able to be wide open, you know, with their ideologies and their enchantments, man. When it came to the architecture, when it came to the ideologies, okay, the school curriculum, okay, the entertainment, the music, all right, the poison that they're able to put into the food. You see, the elites were able to be wide open here in America, man. You see, like no other nation on the earth. Okay, so it says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. And see, these devils, you know, these elites were able to pull off so much wickedness in the background, you know, and they are able to enrich themselves and have so much influence, okay, that they think that they are God. You see, they think that they're on the same tier with the Most High. Okay, which has emboldened them to try to replace the Most High with technology, man. Okay, which that's why we're going to see this devil, and we're seeing this devil be embarrassed because the Lord is showing him that he has limitations, man. Okay, that's why I say verse 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it rises. Yeah, because Esau really thinks that he's all knowing, especially he is tapped into this AI. Okay, this devil really thinks that he's all knowing. But wait a minute, it said, therefore there shall evil come upon thee, that thou shalt not know from whence it rises, showing that this devil has blind spots, man. Okay, and the Lord's exposing these blind spots in these last days. Okay, it says, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So we're seeing, all right, the Lord bring things upon this devil. Certain things are backfiring, all right, that he, all right, is not privy to, man. There's things happening that this devil not privy to, man. Okay, the Lord is really beginning to break this man down right before our eyes. Okay, which plays into this devil knowing he have but a short time. He know, like, I gotta pull this off, man. You know, there's things happening that I can't account for. This devil knows that there's things happening that this devil can't account for, man. He's not all knowing. He's not all powerful. He knows a lot. The Lord has given him, you know, power beyond any other heathen, but he's not all knowing and all powerful, man. Far from it. Okay, and there's things that happen suddenly, okay, that this devil can't account for, man. That's why we see a scramble in these last days with this devil, man. Okay, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorcery wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Okay, stand now with thine enchantments. It's the Most High mocking Esau, man. Okay, telling Esau, look, use those enchantments that's been working for you thus far, man. You've been winning with these enchantments. Stand with them now. Okay, now that I'm getting at your ass, stand with these enchantments, man, that you trust in so much. They got you thinking you me. Stand with these enchantments. They got you thinking you me. Okay, you might be able to do something, man, but that's the Most High mocking this devil, man. You know, and it says, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, because America was founded on witchcraft, man, and Freemasonry and Enlightenment ideology, man. Because real quick, we're gonna let's go from here, and we'll come back to Isaiah of Ratazan. Let's pull this up real quick. This is so I just asked to Google real quick, when was the age of enlightenment, and were their ideas, you know, allowed to flourish, okay, able to flourish in America above anywhere else. It said the age of enlightenment took place from the 1600s to the late 1700s. And while American leaders uniquely turned these ideas into a new government, European nations like France and Great Britain, okay, experienced an equally, all right, powerful and deeper intellectual flourishing. When was the age of enlightenment? Roughly 1685 to 1815, the 17th to 18th centuries. People began to value, this is the main goal, people began to value human reason, science, and individual freedom over blind obedience to kings and churches, man. And this was just a fancy way of saying rebellion against the Most High. It was rooted in rebellion against the Most High and Satanism, questioning the Bible, questioning the tradition of the scriptures. That's what it was rooted in. Okay, as if you know, they go into this individual freedom. There's them wanting to be separate from the authority of the scriptures, to break away from the authority of the scriptures, man. Okay? It says key European thinkers John Locke from England, Voltaire from France, and Jean Jacques Rousseau, France, created the core ideas of the movement. It said that ideas flourish in America above anywhere else. America did not invent the Enlightenment, but it became the unique testing ground for its political ideas. Okay? The American success, it says founders like Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and Benjamin Franklin took European ideas about natural rights and freedoms. They used them to write the Declaration of Independence and build a new republic. In this political way, the ideals found a physical home unlike anywhere else at the time. Okay, remember, it was rooted in rebellion against the Most High. America was founded on rebellion against the Most High. Okay, they played this Christian game for the sake of credibility. Okay, but then they infused Christianity with what? A lot of paganism, a lot of pagan customs. Okay, so let me see. Because when did Christmas come about? Okay, which goes back to paganism. When was Christmas established? Let's see. Let's see. Yep. So Christmas was established as an official U.S. federal holiday on June 26, 1870. So Christmas was established in 1870, which that's a custom, that's a pagan custom. Okay. So they played, this Christian game. All right. Like they did one nation under God. They were speaking about Satan the whole time, but they used the Bible as a decoy for credibility. Okay, and then they slowly began to infuse paganism, into American culture, man. Okay, church on Sunday, man, that all goes back to paganism, Easter paganism. Okay, so when you go into, all right, America, all right, this place was founded on witchcraft, man, Enlightenment ideology, man. Okay. And these elites were able, since America was like a blank slate, they came and eradicated, the tribes, okay, knocked them, which it was all prophecy, okay, because there was a time for Esau to rule. Okay, but when you go into America, man, it was founded on enchantments and witchcraft, man. Okay, now I want to go here and play this video, play a few minutes of this, which this is about a month old, few weeks old, going back to July. Okay, around July 4th was America, made this big deal about America 250. Okay. And this guy here, he's gonna go into what this guy called. He's gonna go into a little bit of the history of America, and just go into those similarities, and the masonry, Freemasonry was founded upon, man. Okay, so let's play this.
To today's show, happy birthday, America! Today we celebrate our Independence Day. I'm just jerking your chain. Happy birthday, of course, to the formation of the Illuminati, which coincidentally, of course, as everything in this world was formed in the year 1776, right? All we see is this America propaganda all over the place. America 250, 1776 to 2026, and all these sheeple think that today is the day that we celebrate our actual independence and our actual freedom. But the real question is, do you feel free? Well, most of these people feel free because, of course, they're a part of the American experiment. I'm sure it's a coincidence as well that Netflix is releasing a, quote, documentary, which may as well be labeled a mockumentary, called the American Experiment, or just released it, I should say, right around, of course, the time of America's birthday. But for those of you that don't know, America just happened to coincidentally coincide with the Bavarian Illuminati. Now, there's people out there that say the Illuminati is just a fake conspiracy theory that people like me make it up to get clicks and views because it became such a popular topic over there. In fact, it became so popular that Taco Bell and the mainstream media had to take the term Illuminati and turn it into a gimmick so that when people hear the term Illuminati, they're trained to automatically dismiss, roll their eyes, and think it's a giant conspiracy. But in fact, if you research it yourself, whether you use AI, whether you use encyclopedias, whatever you might use, it is factual information that on the Beltane, of course, the day of worship and sacrifice for Baal on May 1st, 1776, was in fact when the Illuminati was formed. And of course, the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th of that same year. In 1776 was right in the middle of the Age of Enlightenment, and who, of course, calls themselves the Enlightened Ones. It just happens to be those who are members of secret societies like the Illuminati or Freemasonry or the Bull or whatever it may be, who believe they have the forbidden secret knowledge that Satan is the god of this world and that they are the ones chosen to rule among us. But of course, this stuff is all right in front of us. While the sheeple out there get their American flags and start barbecuing and thinking that they're independent, they don't realize that they're actually slaves of mind control. Because even the whole notion of barbecuing on the 4th of July has been ingrained into you through commercials, television shows, movies, propaganda. And that's what everybody goes and does, because repetition is the key to mind control. So all of these Americans have plans to celebrate the 4th one way or the other, drinking beers and getting with their friends and wearing their Patriot shirts, all unaware that they're a part of the great experiment. The back of the dollar bill should summarize all of these things very well for anybody who doesn't know. The pyramid, of course, which is associated with the term Illuminati, that has that capstone with the all-seeing eye, the same one that you see celebrities constantly do, where they hold up a hand over their eye or their hair over their eye or anything they can find over their eye, telling you that they're a part of the club. Well, most people don't even realize right on the back of the dollar bill, not only do you see this pyramid with the all-seeing eye, but you also see the term Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means new order of the ages, which might as well just say New World Order, which was formed in the year 1776. But most people don't
see the elites, like you said, the Great American Experiment, and with the elites, America was, the platform, the springboard, okay, to begin to establish a new world order throughout the earth. Okay. So the elites were able to use America to really, in scripture, speak about, the America being the hammer of the earth. With a hammer, you destroy things, and also, you can mold things. Okay. So America was used to mold, to also, destroy, but then also to mold these nations, okay, into what? A new world order. To get these nations on these digital systems, okay, to get these governments, corrupt these governments, okay, because all these governments are corrupt. That's why, they're all, making themselves compatible with the new world order, okay. Now, like I say, the Lord is causing them to fight, to have these infights, okay, over who's going to run the system, and the elites think they're just going to, play the background, and whoever comes out on top, all right, they're going to allow them, to be at the forefront of this new world order, this technocracy, man. Okay, but like we say, Yahweh Shai is coming to destroy both sides. Okay, he's going to allow the East to destroy the West, and then he's coming to destroy all the kings of the East. Okay, so they played both sides trick, and that's played out for your elites. Okay, we'll tell you that for free. You see, but you got to do what you got to do. Okay. But yeah, you go into, I would say that, the back of the dollar, okay, which you have, floating, above the pyramid, and what we know it, all right, Coeptus, which goes to he has favored our undertaking, that he is speaking to Satan. Okay. And the devil, Satan has Esau deceived as if he can pull this off, man. Okay. And Satan that got Esau deceived like he can pull this off. Okay. Nubis Seclorum, which goes to what new order of the ages of the worlds. Okay, which is the new world order. You see? So America was founded to be, a springboard, to get the world, to be the leaders of the new world. All right, and to get the nation to conform to a new world order. Okay, and you got the e pluribus unum on the back of the dollar, out of meaning one. Okay, which is a one world order under Satan. Okay, under Esau. You see, and that's the ambition of the devil. Okay, so let's play a little more.
Realize this because they're a part of what they call the American experiment. But the reality of the matter is it's really the American mind control experiment. Things like the Statue of Liberty that they show you over and over and over, and you have no idea what this is, and you look at it and you say, that's America, the Statue of Liberty, right? Even there at the Statue of Liberty, which is really a giant statue of Ishtar, the goddess of Babylon. And that's why many, including myself, believe that America is really Mystery Babylon referenced in the Bible, because you don't see America referenced anywhere in Scripture, even though the majority of Americans believe that we, America, are God's country, that nationalism and patriotism somehow tie into God, and the mass genocide that America commits on babies and individual civilians around the earth is all just, well, it's something that we don't have to pay attention to because we're God's chosen people, right? All part of the American experiment. In fact, even the Statue of Liberty itself, which was created by Freemasons, shows you that it was created by Freemasons, because if you visit the statue of Ishtar, Liberty, you'll even see the Freemasonic compass right at the bottom, as they tell you the cornerstone of the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty was brought to you by the Grand Master of Masons. And America, again, Mystery Babylon, surrounded by monuments that tell us, in fact, who America truly is. The Washington Monument, another artifact that we're told, wow, the Washington Monument, this giant obelisk, which is really Baal's shaft, because that's what the obelisk is. It's phallus worship. Most people don't know it's 666 inches wide and 6,660 inches tall. I'm sure that's coincidental, right? We even had the Georgia Guidestones, if it wasn't obvious enough about what the master plan is here in America, sitting in our country for years and years and years before, of course, they demolished them themselves, pretending, of course, that it was conspiracy nuts like me and you who went and blew them up. But no, they blew up the Georgia Guidestones because there was a waiting time capsule underneath for them that had instructions for what the next phase of our enslavement actually was. And this goes back from all the presidents, from Abraham Lincoln to George Washington, the very first supposed president who was a Freemason, all the way to guys like Harry Truman, right? Who told us that although he held the highest civil honor in the world, which is president, he's always regarded his rank and title as a past Grand Master of Masons, the greatest honor that had ever come to him, which by definition is treason, that he held his highest regard for his honor and rank as a Freemason over being the president of the United States. And of course, Harry Truman left his legacy, which we see to this day in regards to the state of Israel, because Harry Truman was the first world leader to officially recognize the state of Israel, which was created, of course, as an industrial military complex to carry out the plots of the wicked under the guise, of course, of you can't question the people who are doing it because they've been victims their entire lives. But this is everything else in America is all scripted out. As Albert Pike told us that.
Yeah, so, these presidents, these leaders, juiced in. And see, the elites have just gained so much control over America, that the whole system is fully corrupt, from corporations to government. Everything is fully corrupt. okay, to where America has fully sold out, its citizens, along with the nations of the world, but there's nothing like America, man. There's nothing like the level of America, which is Babylon the Great. Okay, so what we're seeing now, all right, is these elites attempting, to cause, order out of chaos, by starting war, okay, and then, by causing strife, all right, eternally within America, okay, to break down the population, to make them desperate and fearful, for a solution, okay. So we're seeing these devils, go with their last move on the board, to attempt this new world order, all right, and we know that they're going to attempt it, but the Lord's going to destroy it, okay. So let's go here. In every instance, this place, this new world order attempt to destroy is confounded. Okay, that's why you go back to Isaiah 47:13 said, "Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee, man, because the Lord is bringing judgment on the elites, on this whole system. Okay, which America is going to get it the worst. All right, and he's not going to be able to enchant his way out of this judgment, man. Okay, there's not going to be some miraculous sign that he's going to get from the heavens that's going to make him sidestep prophecy, man. Okay, and win with his agenda. It says, "Behold, they shall be as stubble; the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm, nor a fire to sit before. They shall," it said, "thus shall they be unto them with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchant from thy youth. They shall wander everyone to his quarter, none shall save thee," man. So there's no saving America, man. This place is gonna be completely destroyed. Okay, and the New World Order enterprise is gonna be destroyed with it. Okay, with America being destroyed is simultaneous with this whole New World Order agenda being destroyed with it. Okay, because the militaries of the earth are going to be destroyed. All right, which are going to, these elites, all they're going to be able to do is hide in bunkers, man. Okay, like the cowards they are. Okay, all they know how to do is manipulate with enchantments and with their wealth. You strip that away, they're nothing. Okay, feeble old Edomites, that's it. Okay, you take away these enchantments and their wealth, they're just feeble Edomites, man. Okay, there's going to be all right, there's going to be rounded up for slavery. You see, that's why you go here. Let's go to it's in the book of Micah. It's the book of Micah, chapter. All right, 10. It was like Micah chapter 4, verse 10 said, "Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for thou shalt go forth out of the city, which is out of Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field, which is the world, which is us going into captivity, us being, cast out of our homeland, the northern tribes, they left, they was taken captive by the Syrians, and then they left Assyria and came to where? The Americans, which will eventually be Babylon. Okay, the southern tribes will be ran out in 70 AD by the Romans, going to Africa, the northern, interior western parts of Africa, and eventually will be taken captive in the transatlantic slave trade to where? Babylon. All tribes will end up in Babylon, a bulk of the tribes, because we're all throughout the earth. Okay, but the bulk of the tribes, all 12 tribes, will be concentrated here, all right, in the Western Hemisphere, man, and mainly here in America. Okay, he says, "And thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered, and the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies," which is the elites, man. Okay, so we're exactly where we're supposed to be in prophecy, man, within the Lord's will. We're supposed to be in Babylon as captives, man, and that's where the Lord was going to show great power with another Exodus, man, with the Exodus 2.0. Okay, with far more glory than the Exodus of ancient Egypt, man. You know, so we're exactly where we need to be, man, as far as prophecy. Okay, so let's go here, man. These devils, they finna lose. You know, because us being redeemed from our power means the Lord is going to destroy, just like he did the ancient Tower of Babel. Okay, the ancient Tower of Babylon, where this new technological Tower of Babylon, which is a technological rebellion against the Most High, it's going to be confounded as well, man. Job 14:12 says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, man. Okay, so you devils are not going to be able to pull this off. You're going to be disappointed. Okay, you're going to fall far short, and you're going to be embarrassed on your way out, man. Okay, is this the man? You see, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the fraud is carried headlong, man. You know, so Esau is in self-destruct mode, man. You know, everything that he's built up to this point to try to establish this new world order is beginning to work against him, man. You know, and he has a little wiggle room to pull off these last few moves, okay, to fulfill his assignment and prophecy, and he's out of there, man. Okay, he's going to be taken headlong into captivity. You see? So that's the point. You know, we'll leave it there. All right. Lord will. All right, you brothers. Okay, and you few sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, and hopefully, shalom.